Frederick Douglass, the abolitionist of the future.
He was born on February in 1818 into slavery. Because he was born into slavery, we don't know his exact birthday. His mother died when he was about 10. At a young age, Douglass lived with his maternal grandmother, Betty Bailey. At a young age, he was selected to live in the home of the plantation owners, one of whom might have been his father. Later in life, he chose to celebrate his birthday on the 14th of February. He learned the alphabet when he was 12, even though slaves were not supposed to learn to read and write. He also taught other slaves to read and write. He tried to escape slavery 2 times before he succeeded. September 3rd, 1838, Douglass boarded a train to Havre de Grace, Maryland, and escaped slavery. He married Anna Murray on September 15, 1838 in New York. She was the one to help Frederick escape slavery. In Massachusetts, Frederick and Anna had 5 kids. 2 of them died at the age of 10. Frederick had many relationships with other women, but Anna was still a loyal supporter of his work. When Anna died, he married Helen Pitts. Helen was a feminist, she was white, and she was 20 years younger than Frederick. They were married for 11 years until he passed away on February 20th, 1895. He died by a massive heart attack or stroke shortly after returning from a meeting of the National Council of Women in Washington, D.C. Buried in Mount Hope Cemetery in Rochester, New York.
Produced abolitionist newspaper, The North Star. Right is for no sex. Truth is of no color. God is the Father of us all, and we are all brethren. In 1848, he attended the Seneca Falls Convention for Women's Rights, and he was the only African American.
3 major accomplishments. He furthered the advancement of several causes, including women's suffrage. From his anti-slavery effort, Frederick Douglass supported various other causes mostly related to equality in society. He achieved international fame as a writer and orator. Apart from his anti-slavery effort, Frederick Douglass supported various other causes mostly related to equality in society. He achieved international fame as a writer and orator of great persuasive power. He used these skills to advocate, among other things, equal rights for women, mostly prominently their right to vote. Also, apart from condemning slavery, his newspaper served as a medium to fight for emancipation of women and other oppressed groups. He played a part in African Americans being granted the right to vote. In the Civil War, he advocated that since African Americans had fought for the Union, they deserved the right to vote. In 1870, the 15th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was ratified, which prohibited discrimination against a citizen's right to vote based on his race, color, or previous condition of servitude. April 21, 1877, Frederick Douglass was appointed U.S. Marshal of the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., by President Rutherford B. Hayes. This made him the first African American confirmed for a president appointment by the U.S. Senate as a marshal. Douglass strengthened the hold of black civil servants on minor government positions and was instrumental in the development of Howard University.
Washington, D.C. With fact number 1, he used bread to learn. As a young man, during this time in history, slaves were not allowed to learn how to read. This is where Douglass used bread he had with him that he would exchange with other white kids to teach him how to read. Looking at fact number 2, After learning how to read as a teenager, Douglass taught other slaves to read. While working for a farmer named William Freeland, Douglass taught fellow slaves how to read before word got out where a group of people got angry about the teaching and broke the classes up. With fact number 3, Douglass escaped to freedom with the help of his wife. This is where in 1838, Douglass's wife helped him escape with a sailor's uniform. Douglass would use this as a disguise to take a train and escape to freedom. Moving on to fact number 4, it is all about his real name. He was born Frederick Bailey, but after escaping slavery, became afraid he would be caught if he used his real name. This is where he had the name Douglass suggested to him from a character in Sir Walter Scott's poem, The Lady of the Lake, and he would go on under that name. With our 5th and final fact, if you think photos are big today, then Frederick Douglass would fit right in. That is because he was considered one of the most photographed people in the 19th century. There are 160 separate portraits of Douglass, more than Abraham Lincoln or Walt Whitman, 2 other heroes of the 19th century. That is all with my top 5 fun facts about the life of Frederick Douglass.
Douglass's life sort of stands across the expanse of the 19th century as a symbol of the worst and the best in the American character. He was the slave who saw most of the worst brutalities of slavery. He was the slave, however, who freed himself and by luck, pluck, and gifts remade himself. Most importantly, he had an enormous ability to capture in words the meaning of what America is about.